I'm Melissa.
I'm Mike, and we are Destination Mystery.
Coming to you from Mystery Media Group, Destination Mystery paints the story for paranormal content, abnormal adventures, and the fun behind the investigations.
Each week, we will take you to a new destination where we solve the mystery. This is not the same old ghost story you've heard before. We will not only tell the spooky story, we'll go to a remote location to investigate it for ourselves.
So fasten your seatbelt and put on your helmet as we take you to a new adventure that will leave you questioning what you've always thought about the paranormal.
You are listening to Mystery Media Group.
Yay! For the two fans who actually follow us and listen to our podcast episodes, thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
We are very excited to be back and starting season 2.
Yay!
Yay! There's been a lot going on.
That's because you've been very busy.
I've been very busy, but I'm hoping to be less busy. A couple of new things that are exciting in my world. I finished my PhD, and I am now, yay. So I have 2 bachelor's degrees and a master's and a PhD. And my PhD is in Doctor of Philosophy and Metaphysical Humanistic Science, specializing in parapsychology. That's a lot of words. It almost makes me sound a little important, but then whenever people ask me, I'm like, it's not anything I can get a real job with. But it's fascinating. I love it. I love the study of it, and I'm hoping to do more with it. So I'm just excited to be done with school.
You look less stressed.
Yeah, done with homework. Like on the weekends now, I've been able to actually do yard work and housework and stuff. And this weekend, my husband and I were fixing the brakes on my car, and I was like, oh, this is so nice. And he's like, huh, this isn't much of a weekend. And I'm like, this is better than doing homework.
Better than homework.
So that's an exciting thing on my end of the world. I've also become a certified paranormal investigator, and I'm a certified EVP technician, and I'm an ordained minister with the International Church of Metaphysical Humanism. So, like, if anybody wants a really weird marriage ceremony, I'd be happy to help out. Yeah, we could probably marry over Zoom even. Who knows?
I got some new shoes.
Oh, I'm sure you've been up to more than that. Tell us about your adventures.
One of the adventures that we were talking about earlier was we went to Cabo for about a week, which is right on the very, very end of Mexico. We kind of got roped into one of those stupid, what do you call them? Want you to buy a condo or
like a timeshare presentation.
Timeshare, yeah. He roped us into one of those, and he was trying to get me with golf and fishing, and I'm like, I'm not a golfer. I'm not a fisherman. Well, what would you want to do? Well, I don't think I want to tell you. As I was sitting there, on the very point of the island, there's no people that live there, and there's an old building sitting way up on top all by itself. And I was staring at that thinking, that is what I want to go see. I could care less about your golf course. I could care less about your fishing trips. I want to go to that building. And below it on this beach is a bunch of other old buildings. And that was what I was thinking about the whole time.
Yeah.
You can keep your stupid golf courses. I want to go to that old building.
Unless your golf course is haunted, I don't care.
Yeah. I didn't want to tell him that because I think he had already thought I was crazy. But Melissa and I were discussing this. Why do we enjoy that so much?
You know, I did the same thing happened to me when my husband and I went to Vegas. We got roped into one too, and we just went because they were offering a lot of free stuff. And we thought, okay, we can waste an hour. It was more like 2 hours of our day for all this free stuff. So he was telling us about all these awesome locations and all these things to do. And I was like, do you have anywhere where there's no people? He's like, huh? How about like a hotel that's like abandoned, worn down, maybe, haunted? That's what I want to do.
That's probably a good way to end your session. They probably kicked you right out, didn't they?
I'm like, I'm sorry, but I do enjoy a good vacation, but this just isn't my idea of fun. Well, what about your kids? And I'm like, who cares about my kids? If I'm paying for this trip, I get to do what I want.
That's right.
No, actually, my kids like doing this stuff too. So
they enjoy it as much as you do, don't they?
They do. Yep. But he asked me what I did for a living, and I was like, well, I kind of have two lives. I have my regular day job, which I started a new job, by the way, and I've been busy with that. And then I have my paranormal side of where I'm a parapsychologist. And so I was like, which one should I talk to him about? And then I was like, well, maybe he'll talk to me less if I tell him I'm a parapsychologist, which was true. I told him I was a parapsychologist, and he's like, what the crap is that? But anyway, yeah, I had the same thing. And yeah, he thought I was really strange, but got us out of buy-in timeshare.
That's what it's all about.
I'd rather take my creepy old motorhome and go park somewhere where there aren't any people.
I agreed.
You also found some pretty fun places to visit this
Yes.
weekend, didn't you?
Yes, we went to Wyoming to take my daughter to her new apartment. I was going to say the name of the town, but I probably better not because we went to some places that may or may not have had trespassing signs on it. But we discovered this little town just outside of where they live. And it was a mining town back in the 70s. And they started building all sorts of apartments and buildings. And there's a few people that still live there, but the majority of it's abandoned. They had this whole brand new school gymnasium built, just the gymnasium for basketball. They didn't even have a road paved to it, just a dirt track to get to it. And one of the doors may or may not have been opened. So I walked through it, and man, was that fun. That was a whole lot of fun. They had their knee pads and volleyball uniforms and the locker rooms, and just everything was still sitting right. It's like they just left after school one day and never came back.
That's my
It was
favorite.
a lot of fun.
I love that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Why? Why do we enjoy going into creepy old places? I mean, I'll take that over Disneyland.
Yeah, me too. I don't know, but I've had like my kids'
Maybe 'cause there's
friends
no
are
people.
always like, take us with you. We want to go on one of your investigations. And so I've taken them out a few times to just some places close that I know about. And they're like, oh my gosh, that was so fun. That's like the funnest I've ever had. And I don't know. It's just a fascinating, I guess there's a mystery involved. It's fun to try and see if you can figure out, the mystery. If you do get paranormal activity, that's like a huge adrenaline rush, I guess. And I think, I don't know, just exploring old places is like the history behind it and stuff is just fascinating. I don't even know how to explain
It
it,
is.
but especially when they leave stuff behind and you can kind of piece together like what they may have done for a living or, what their hobbies were or whatever. We, Cosette and I found Cosette with Not So Cozy Crimes. We were exploring one day and we found an abandoned hospital. And there were no signs on it anywhere. The door was wide open. And obviously people had been in there before us because it was a little trashed and graffitied, but we went in and there were medical records and like a huge lab full of supplies and hospital beds. And it was so fun. It was a little creepy because it was huge and there was like a maze. It was one of the older ones, so it was built weird. I don't know, but like that creep factor is what gets me excited.
Is that
And
what we enjoy, is the creep factor?
I think for me, part of it is, and any good mystery, do we know if this is really haunted or not? Well, let's find out. I don't know. But it was so fun. Yeah.
We didn't go anywhere that the door wasn't already opened.
Yeah.
But the neat thing about this town was there was no graffiti or trash, that people that are looking usually leave behind. It's fairly clean, the only reason I could tell people had gone through it is somebody spilled there was some dust all over the floor and you could see tracks everywhere. So I know tons of people have been going through there, but they weren't graffitiing and throwing their trash around. So I was kind of grateful for that. If you're going to explore these places, keep them the way you find them. Don't take stuff and don't leave stuff. This same town that we were at, the other direction, about a half an hour, is another school, but this was a complete school, like a high school, shop buildings, houses. It was a couple acres worth of buildings, and it was completely abandoned too. It looked like something from Walking Dead. I didn't get to go through it, but my daughter's
going back.
my daughter's boyfriend, he didn't go in there, but he says his friends were chased out by ghosts. So
And we're
that is definitely
going
one of
back.
those we got to check out. I do like a good creepy old building. I don't know why.
So a lot of my friends and my daughter's friends too, they're like, how do you find these places? Like, how do you even know they're here? Because some of them you like pass every day and not even know what it is. I'm like, I don't know. I just like
You have a
that's
sense.
they stick out to me. But how, Michael, how would you describe how you're able to find like your caves and your how do you go about doing all this?
Well, I spent some time on Google Earth, which you talked about, looking for stuff. But I have a good friend, and when he drives down the road, he sees hay fields, crop fields. He sees cattle, but that's what he does. When I drive down a road, I don't see any of the stuff he sees. I see firewood. 'Cause I used to burn firewood in my house, and I see old buildings because I work in old buildings. So just when you're driving down roads, people who like art will see artwork. People who like flowers will see the flowers. People who like creepy old abandoned buildings will see those. So it's just what you're looking for. But as I'm out and about in the Tules on my four-wheeler, you kind of I've seen enough land and rock formations and that I get a pretty good idea of where I'm going and where to find a cave or something cool or an old building. I don't know.
You know, I remember you mentioning to me once, you're like, hey, look at that grove of trees out there. There might have been an old homestead.
Oh,
And we went out there and sure enough, there was an old homestead out there.
if you see a line of trees that are growing in a straight line or a square, they were planted and there's probably a home inside that or used to be a home. Or that levee that we drove up on. You remember
Uh-huh.
there? Oh, that looks like a levee. And you're like, how in the world would you know that was a levee? Well, because I've seen a
Because you've
bunch
seen
of
them
them.
before.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like the places that we've been able to find that are so close to where we live that I didn't even know were there. You just have to, for me, it's like taking a new road or going for a different walk or if you're driving to the next town over, take the back road instead of the highway. And it's pretty interesting what you find.
My wife with Time Forgot we've started a hobby of anytime we go like down to Logan to visit Melissa, here's a little town. So we'll stop at that little town and walk through or look through drive up and down the roads. And we'll find a really cool old house or a really cool this or that. And each time we go down or come back, we pick a different town and go through it. And that's kind of been fun.
It is fun. You get some really good pictures too.
Except when you're going 70 and she sees something she wants to take a picture of.
She's like, stop, pull
Ah!
over. I do that to my husband all the time. He's like, I can't, there's people behind me. But yeah, that's what we love. I think that is just as much for me. Exploring those places is just as much fun as collecting paranormal evidence. They're both equally fun. So I got a new parabolic mic that we need to go try. Mike and I are going to get together this weekend for some adventures.
Yes.
And we're going to try that. And we've discovered a couple of places that we can possibly go into that we've been wanting to for a while. We're excited.
I'm going to go this week and see if we can get in so that when you come down Saturday, we'll go do an investigation there.
And I found one of my good friends from high school is now a cop. Either we're going to make him come with us or if we get
He's going to get
caught,
us out of jail.
I'm going to say, oh, I got permission from so-and-so. It's okay. We're good. Yeah. So that's going to be fun. I was going to tell you too, Mike, I forgot. I've seen like 3 UFOs over the past couple of weeks. And they're just like by these mountains by my house. And it's really strange because how long have I been looking at the skies and never seen anything? But the last one I saw was huge. So my daughter is in Smithfield, which is the next, like a town over. She calls me at about 11:30 at night and she's like, Mom, go outside. You have to look at something. It's headed your direction. So I go out I go out on my back porch. They were out having a bonfire. I go out on my back porch and I see it. And it's like, it's really hard to describe because at one point it looked like a bunch of lights, like a string of lights. And then it would like dim and it would almost look like a cloud. And then it would go back to brighter light. Like it was just different. it's so weird. It's so hard to explain, but it was humongous. Like I'm talking huge. And it was just kind of floating along. It looked like it came from the Smithfield area over to Logan. And when I saw it, it was kind of over the top of Utah State University, like Old Main Hill. And it was just floating along there. And then it looked like was heading towards the canyon. And then it went behind a mountain and I didn't see it again. But it was just kind of like moving really slow, no noise. It was humongous. It was changing, like it would get brighter and dimmer, almost to the point where it was invisible, like it was a cloud that you were looking through. So my other good friend who lives here in Logan, John with Cache Valley Bigfoot, I like texted him really quick and I was like, oh my gosh, I just saw the strangest thing. And I didn't know if he'd be awake. And he's like, call me. And so I called him and he's like, I saw that too earlier that night in the canyon. And he described the exact same thing that I saw. So there were
It's crazy.
me, Cosette, John, and all the people that were at the bonfire with Cosette all saw it. And we have no idea. I've
Did you
never
get a
seen
picture
anything
of
like
it?
that. We tried. Cosette got a video of it, but it's not great. And I tried. Like I even got my really nice camera with the lens that zooms in, and it was hard to get a picture because it would go in and out of focus. It was changing, it would be bright and then invisible. And it was just really hard to get a picture
That's
of it.
weird.
I don't even know how to describe it. I've never seen anything like it in my life. So hopefully, but we're going to plan a UFO watch party one of these weekends. Oh, so another story I wanted to talk to you about was one night when we were taking my kids and their friends. We went to an abandoned house because they wanted to use my equipment and like kind of see how it worked and stuff. And it was one that we'd been to a couple of times, super easy to get into. Nobody really cares that anybody goes in there. But we like the first time we went in there, we thought there's got to be people like staying here. There's squatters and stuff. We never ran into anybody. But we went in this time and, I always announce, hey, we're here to just kind of look around. If there's anybody in here, let us know you're here. We'll leave. And we didn't get an answer. And we announced it several times as we were walking through the house, nothing. So we do like an EVP session and stuff. And we did get some activity, which was a little weird. And then on our way back up, we were just kind of looking through the upstairs. And then all of a sudden we're like, can you smell cigarette smoke? And we realized it was coming from one of the bedrooms. And so one of the kids that was with us knocked on the door and he's like, hello, is anybody there? And the guy's like, yo, like we were interrupting him. And so everybody went out of the house screaming. So we were literally in that house for probably like an hour and a half to 2 hours investigating and exploring while there was a squatter there. We didn't even know he was there. So be careful when you go to places
Wow.
like that. I mean, he just wanted to be left alone, but you never know what could happen. So be careful.
Wow.
Announce your presence.
Crazy.
And I don't know. I take protection with me, hoping they'll never have to use it, but I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah, you always want to have protection,
No matter what you're doing.
no matter what you're doing.
One other thing, Mike and I went and explored another cave a couple of weeks ago, and we took another friend of ours that has been wanting to come with us for a while. She's from Colorado and is always wanting to go on an investigation. So we took her with us and she did really well. And she's older than me. Any age, you can have fun. And like she had a blast. And we were hiking like over rocks and
Climbing down holes into the cave.
climbing through holes and like a really unsteady ground and stuff. But she had a great time and she did really well. And we even went to one cave where all of a sudden Cosette screamed. And so my friend was thinking, oh my gosh, there's a dead body. She found a dead body. And I'm thinking, oh, it's like a cougar or something. And it happened to be just a bunch of bats that flew and like one of them smacked her right in the middle of the forehead as it was flying out.
Your friend put her hoodie on
Yeah.
and had her face
Yep.
in like 2 seconds,
In 2
and she was
seconds.
gone. Man,
She gone.
she gone.
I just duck and cover. Well, it flew right past my ear and give me the heebie-jeebies, those creepy little critters. But it was kind of funny because
I was in a low spot in the cave, and so when she screamed, I stood up to see what was going on and cracked my head on
You
the.
smacked your head on the
Yeah, I'm getting a helmet. Speaking of helmets, my daughter worked at a Spud warehouse, and they have to wear a safety helmet everywhere they go,
Uh-huh.
and goggles, and they gave her a little flashlight. And so she quit, and our last day of work, she presented me with a helmet so I could wear it in the cave.
I can't wait to see you in it. We could put
It looks
some
like
Destination Mystery stickers on it.
it kind of looks like a ping pong ball cut in half, a very, very large ping pong ball.
You need it though, because the last 2 caves we've been in,
More than that, when you wear glasses and you look out the top of them because you're bent over, the distances are different than when you stand up and you're looking through the lens. And so I'm always hitting my head.
that's why I put my contacts in. I don't care if they get dust particles. I can't see anything in my glasses.
Probably started before I had glasses, but it's getting worse. I was a little hesitant to bring her with us
Mhm.
because I'm always afraid that new people are going to think, A, you guys are absolutely nuts,
Mhm.
or B, this is the biggest wild goose chase I've ever been on.
Well, that's
But
just
they
it. Like,
always seem to have fun.
we never really have a set plan in mind. I mean, we usually know approximately where we're going, but it like we'll
Where
see
we want to
something.
go.
Yeah, we'll see something along the way and we'll detour or whatever, and or we can't quite find the place. It'll take us a little while to find the place, and so I worry about that too. Like if these, I don't hope they're having a good time because we've been lost for an hour. But that's part of the fun.
It is.
Having no plan and no like agenda and just seeing what you can find.
Nothing gets the adrenaline going like being lost at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah. There was only one time where that really bothered me. I never want to do that again, but other than that, I don't care.
Oh, you talked about John, our good friend John.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He just came out with a book about my favorite subject, Bigfooting, and I just read it. It's really good.
Yeah, so this book is called Cache Valley Bigfoot Field Guide and Stories About Bigfoot in Cache Valley. And it's written by John Marshall. And he gives us a shout out in it. Woohoo! You can buy it on Amazon. I believe he may also have a book and t-shirt bundle that you can buy super cheap. If you go to his Instagram page, it's just Cache Valley Bigfoot, or Facebook at Cache Valley Bigfoot. So it's a fun read. And he is doing part 2 and is looking for stories. So if you have a Bigfoot story you want to share with him, send it to him. Oh, by the way, this picture, Mike, on the front of the book, do you remember me sending that to you? He got it from his trail cam.
Oh yeah.
He got these really weird pictures on his trail cam that almost look like a beam of light shining down
through the trees.
through
Yeah.
the trees. It looks like a UFO.
I didn't realize that, but yeah,
that's
I
his
remember that
photo.
now.
That's his photo. We did submit our story to him, even though it didn't take place in Cache Valley. It's not too far from there. And we didn't actually see Bigfoot, but we saw evidence. We had all the signs and everything. So our story may be in the next book. Also, we get to go visit Dr. Meldrum's lab this Friday.
I am so excited.
Yeah,
to
me
go
too.
there.
Anybody that is a Bigfoot fan knows who Jeff Meldrum is. He's like the top, what do I want to say? Expert on track.
That is a hard word.
Expert is a hard word.
I am very excited to go there.
Yeah,
Very
me
excited.
too. And I mean, you watch any Bigfoot documentary or film, and they all mention Dr. Meldrum and his studies on the tracks.
Dr. Meldrum pinpointed the difference in the tracks between a human foot, Sasquatch foot. And we just watched one of his documentaries where he explains, is it morphology is the word?
Oh,
how a Bigfoot foot works and how a human foot works. It was really interesting. And I've heard it before, but Meldrum has a very good way of explaining it. He must be a teacher because I understood what he's talking about.
He's a professor.
I've listened to other people's and I've been lost, but he did a good job of explaining it to where I understood it. I'm not necessarily a scholarly type person.
What?
Don't laugh.
Really?
I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too. We've been wanting to do this for a long time. So we get to go to his lab and see all of his tracks. Another thing we wanted to mention is we were featured in a magazine If you go to destination-mystery.com, there's a link on the top that says featured on page 50 and 51. So it was the May and June publication issue of Creative Impact Magazine. And the title of it was The Top 8 Podcasts You Should Be Listening to, or something like that. And we were one of them. So that's pretty exciting. And we put the link on our website if you wanted to check out that magazine. And I think you can download a free copy online. So that's pretty cool. Another link that we have on our website that we want you to check out is the Paranormal Expo link. It's just right at the top of the page. Mike and I will be participating in this paranormal event in October. And if you click on that link, it'll take you to all the information on this. It's Bridgerland ParaX. And it's sponsored by John Olson, who is the author of the Stranger Bridgerland series. And he's got some really awesome guest speakers, including Mike and I, because we're so good with words.
We're so good with words in being in public and stuff like that.
Yeah. So you can just go to our website at destination-mystery.com, and the link is there for both of those. We are just super excited to start this new season off. We have some new investigations, some new locations, some really good new evidence that we haven't shared yet that we can't wait to share. I mean, if you don't have
I got chills just thinking about it.
you gotta save up for one, because we've gotten 3 now, like really good images or videos from that thing, and we can't explain them. We also got some really good EVPs, a bunch of new people that we'll be interviewing. Oh, and best of all, we have a new bonus podcast coming to join us this season on our Mystery Media Group. The name of this podcast is going to be Elva's Alien Encounters, and she's going to be sharing some really fun, creepy, and weird UFO and alien stories. And we just recorded her first episode on Sunday, and it's going to be good.
All right.
So excited.
Is Jill's Chill still joining us?
Yep, we got Jill's Chills back. We have Not So Cozy Crimes back. And we've got Cache Valley Bigfoot. And we have some good times. We can't wait to share them all with you. We've got some good episodes coming up, and we are back. We're back for season 2. Look forward to it.
Yay.
Hope y'all can find your own destination
and solve the mystery.
If you enjoy our show, please like, subscribe, and leave a 5-star review. We will be introducing other Mystery Media Group guests in our upcoming episodes, along with weekly bonus material. If you'd like to see more pictures and evidence from our adventures, visit www.destination-mystery.com. You'll find a link to our blog, as well as a link for merch and contact information. Until next time, find your own destination.
Solve the mystery.
This is a production of Mystery Media Group.
Yay!